Hey there, hi there, ho there. Yeah, Gord, you're hurting Hippie with a Hippie Cooks. This is probably going to be a short one, not a lot of technique, just a little bit of mise en place and a little bit of love, and you got yourself some baked onion, baked pork chops, and baked beans. Pitter patter. Let's get at her. What do I mean by by a baked onion? I've been working on this for a little while now, where I cut up onions and bake them and try to get that sweet, sweet flavor that comes from an onion without overdoing it on the spice and everything else and what time and everything. And now I have found the perfect thing. I make my pork chops. I love to make my pork chops baked in the oven. I really do. And why? Because I think I get the best flavor of the onion. Why? Because I think I get the best flavor of the pork chop by baking. Better than air frying, better than frying, a little bit healthier. I have a couple of rib and bone in pork chops, about an inch thick, and I always go by the average. If it's about an inch thick, I'll bake them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour. Half an hour, flip, half an hour. Really that simple. Near the end, I put on the baked beans and just heat up a can of baked beans. I mean, pick your favorite beans, Bush's beans, Heinz baked beans. I usually go with the Heinz, and a baked onion. So let's get to her. Preparing the oven. Preparing the onion, I do exactly as preparing the pork chops. So first you're going to see me get the pork chops, get the onions cut the way I want them. You want 2 big pieces of steak out of your onion, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. Nice big knife, a good large yellow onion. I find they are the sweetest and bake the best. Peel off the outer layer. It's okay if you see, like that. I like to take a fair amount off the outside and then simply cut it evenly in half as 2. One in. You want to cut them about the same size as your pork chop's going to be. You now have 2 onion steaks. Then you take your pork chops and you now have 2 pork chop steaks. And now now it's simply apply seasoning. A handful of salt. And I season them the same way. Season the onions exactly as you would season the pork chops. Onion powder. Seems a little counterproductive putting onion powder on an onion, but it's keeping all the flavors the same so they work well together. Garlic. Maybe my favorite thing of all time. Heavy on the garlic. And I gotta put this down for this lemon pepper. Another trick I do, I'm not turning those and putting the same seasoning on the other side for 20 minutes. I'm going to let that sit and work its way down before I flip it over and it's resting on the wood just to put the rest on. I am going to let the seasoning work into these. I'll go 15 minutes, season the other side, and then another 15 minutes, then I'll preheat the oven. And then I'll be back. I'm back. We are simply just flip and apply another coating. We'll be back. It's cooking time. I told you this would be a short one. In fact, while I had that brief intermission, I moved the stuff from the cutting board and onto a foil-lined cookie sheet. And you will notice, let's get close here, there's a dollop of butter on each of the onions. I do that for a couple of reasons. As that butter melts, it's going to take that seasoning and wash some of it away while washing it down through the layers of the onion. It's absolutely beautiful. And it introduces a nice brown color like you get when you fry them when you bake it. So the oven is preheated, 350. These are the right size for 1 hour at 350. You could even do 325, but you get less color. 375, and you kind of got a dry pork chop. I find, at least with this oven, 350, 30 minutes. I'm going to pull these out. We'll have a quick look at them, and we're going to flip them. I won't add anything more to them, and then 30 more minutes. See ya at the halfway point. Here we are at the halfway point, 30 minutes. I'm going to flip these. Hang on a sec. And we're just going to give these a very simple turnover calmly so we don't split that onion up. And the meat. I'm doing this one-handed and I shouldn't. I'm a little awkward, folks. Let's put that down and let's have a good look. Halfway point. Look at those onions browning up nicely. The meat starting to brown up nice. Slow cook pork is always softer. Put that back in, 30 more minutes. And friends, we're going to take out a can of Heinz original baked beans. What else to have with baked pork chops and baked onion is some baked beans. I don't need to go into detail on cooking the baked beans. You cook them however you want them. But the way I do them is just heat them up, and I'm going to serve them beside the onion, and I'm going to eat them with the onion. Same with the pork chop. We'll be back when it's all done. And we're at that time. Half an hour. It's been a full hour now. And we have a beautiful couple of pork chops and onions. But before I show them more, let's move them to rest. Put the onions nice and close. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Oh, dripping. Look at that. Yeah, I like showing them off. And we're going to let that sit. Beautiful, beautiful pork chop. One more little flyby. Why am I making silly noises? Friends, maybe a little bit medicated. We're now going to set the timer for 7 minutes. 7 to 10 minutes. I like to let it rest. Always let the meat rest. The onions can rest. It's all going to taste great. And I'm going to let the beans are nice and hot and ready to go. We're going to let them simmer. And all that's left is plating and tasting. Peace. And here we are. I didn't have you watch me plate it. because we all plate differently, but we have a wonderful pork chop ready to go. Gorgeous baked onion, nice and caramelized. Baked beans with a little bit of salt and pepper. And right here we've got a little bit of horseradish, because that's just my little treat. Is I like to have a little horseradish with pork. So I'm taking a piece of pork, I'm taking a piece of the onion, and a little bit of horseradish. Let's just settle that down. Welcome, friends. Let's give this a try. That pork chop is so soft. It's juicy. But then you add that sweet but tangy onion and the really spicy and powerful horseradish all together. That is a beautiful bite. It is a beautiful night, and I need to eat this meal. Friends, peace and cheers, love and harmony. I am drooling, wanting to get to this, so I'm going to let you go. Thank you for staying tuned to another Hippie Cooks.